not fun.
What?
Getting lemon juice in your eye.
I can see that.
I can't.
Just going to say before we even get started that this video is pretty much pointless. I know there's going to be some kind of vague clickbaity type title, but there's no big reveal or anything at the end of this video. I'm just discussing a few recent milestones, so unless you're particularly interested in this channel and by extension me, then I would recommend that you go and spend your time in a more useful and productive fashion. Right, so now we'll be down to more like 2 or 3 people. We can have a nice cozy little chat. Good afternoon, readers. It's Tilly here from Tilly Shelf, and today I'm not going to talk about books and reading very much. Instead, I'm going to do a little bit of reflection, tell you about some personal and BookTube related milestones, and then some things that are coming up for me imminently in my personal life. Today is my birthday. Woohoo! Happy birthday, me! Bo is opposite me in the kitchen, making me a birthday cake. And he's refusing to say hello to you. So if you hadn't noticed by watching this channel up to now, I am definitely what sociable people would call sad. And the only thing that I had booked in for today was a driving lesson. I am learning to be an adult somehow or other. This leaves me with the rest of the day to sort of mull things over. So today I turn 25, meaning that I have lived on this planet for a quarter of a century. Since I fully intend to live to be 100 if possible, that makes me quarter aged, you could say. And it seems reasonable to count that as a significant life milestone. And just as an opportunity to take stock slightly, which is kind of what I have been doing in the last few days. I have been sorting through a lot of old notebooks and diaries, which I brought up recently from my parents' house. So I have kept diaries intermittently since I was about 7 years old. So that is 13 years worth of mindless drivel stacked in a heap to deal with. And I think what I'm going to do is to create a kind of a mini bookshelf of them so that people staying in our spare room can realise just how obsessively introverted I am and never visit again. But that's incidental. A more relevant milestone is that I have been on BookTube for just over a year now, so how about that? I posted my first video on the 31st of July 2018, although I did start filming much earlier than that in the springtime. I was trying to prepare as many videos as possible so that I would be able to put out one a week consistently because I knew that consistency was going to be my main issue. And guess what? I was right. I do not do anything like one video a week. I do the videos I feel like doing when I feel like doing them, and I have been trying quite hard not to let feelings of guilt or pressure affect that. Some of you who have watched this channel for a while will know that I did disappear for a little bit. I didn't post a single video between about February and June, I think, and that was because I was starting to feel a degree of obligation to make videos that was affecting my enjoyment of the process. I also had some other things that I wanted to focus on, like getting my garden sorted a little bit more, our garden I should say, which was really worth the time. I'm really pleased with the number of courgettes and nasturtiums that I managed to grow, so that was a good result I think for the first year of gardening. I do feel bad still that I know there are a couple of things that I was asked to participate in at the start of the year that I didn't do, and I know I let people down a bit there, and I'm sorry about that. But I do still think that I am doing this for myself as a hobby to relax and unwind. So my priority is that it should be a treat and not a chore. The moral of the story here is that I am an awful person to tag and invite to read-alongs, but I still want to be tagged and invited to read-along, so it's up to you what you do with that information. Somehow, in spite of that, I have a wonderful group of 299 people who have decided to subscribe to my channel. All I can say is thank you very much for that. Yeah, I was kind of hoping to hit 300 overnight just for that nice round number thing, but I like to think that that one missing person is like the penny off of the item that makes it seem much better value. Most of the people watching my videos, you can tell that I went onto the analytics tab for this part, are subscribers, and mostly they are 18 to 30, I think from the US or the UK, and unsurprisingly largely female, I think 70% female. One thing that I did find intriguing is that about 17% of my views come via a website called anwa1.com. I was curious about that, so I went ahead and looked it up, and it is an Arabic language website. Why this has any link to a mostly English, mostly classics books channel, I do not know. But anyway, ahlan wa sahlan ya ahlan wa
Something Arabic.
Speak Arabic words. أهلا وسهلا يا شباب تشرفنا وشكرا كثير. So far in this year on BookTube then, I have posted 53 videos, including this one. So I did average about one a week, which is not too bad. I did do a little breakdown and review of what those books were this morning. So I have 25 videos that focus on a specific book, poem, short story collection or poem collection. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. So my original plan for this channel was that it would be exclusively in-depth reviews. And while I don't think I've often reached the kind of review quality that I would wish to, I like that what I do is relatively focused on that style of content overall. Surprisingly, perhaps, my next biggest category at 10 videos is history and books linked together. So that is the videos that I made for Victober last year, one that was about some prehistory books that I have, and videos that I made with Roz at Christmas where we talked about more like family history and also some history of nursing stuff. Other than that, I have done surprisingly only 8 tags and 4 TBR type videos, one of which was the Highbury Reading Project TBR, so that wasn't even really a real TBR. I'm not really a massive planner of what I read, so the TBR format just doesn't really appeal, so I'm not surprised about that one, but I did think that I'd done more tags. I have actually filmed a few more tags though that I haven't edited and posted, so I think that's probably why I felt like I'd done more of them. The final category is just other, which is 5 videos, mostly from the reading rush in the last month, and also like museum exhibition review of the Tolkien Maker of Middle-earth exhibition that I did, and that kind of random thing. So the next question is, which of those videos has got the most views? And that is obviously the worst of them, the BookTube newbie tag, at a somewhat unexpected 500 views. I wasn't surprised to find that this was the highest because I think it is the first video that you see if you arrive on my channel page, but I have to say I was never really happy with that one, so I might have to change that so that people see something hopefully a little bit more representative, perhaps.
How long do you do this for?
Until it's smooth and not lumpy. You want to like whisk it. Bless you. Like whisk it.
Yeah, I did. It's
Like whisk it. Do you want to bring it here and I'll show you how to whisk?
no.
Okay.
Because I'll be on camera and you can make fun of me in front of all your friends.
Like just no lumps.
There's no lumps.
Let me come and have a look.
There's one lump, but that's a lemon pip.
We don't want any lemon pips in it either, do we?
No lumps, see?
Perfect. And then remember to grease the tin.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Do it.
No, you're doing it. You're making me a birthday cake. I'm going to cut that out. In second place is the Highbury Reading Project TBR with about 300 views, which I am pretty happy with.
So I got you second place, basically.
Well, as I was just, it's the next line in the script. That was Bo's idea to make. There we go. And it was just supposed to be good fun, and I think it worked at that, and I'm glad that it did well in terms of ranking by views. It also got some really nice comments as well. Finally, the next couple are from Victober last year, which makes sense because those videos I really put a lot of effort into, and I did enjoy that process of having a project that I was working on, even if it was never entirely finished and never reached the end of the Victorian period. So why not finish it during this year's Victober? Why not indeed? So that brings us nicely onto the next news item on the agenda, which is stuff that's going to be happening in the rest of the year. I know it's a dead catchy title. As I've mentioned a few times on this channel, I work in healthcare. I have been qualified for 2 years now, more or less. I've completed my preceptorship and my Step 1 national competencies for the specific area that I work in, which is currently critical care. So it's time for the next stage, really, for me. And there is something that I've had in mind for the next stage for a very long time. You okay? Beautiful. And then sprinkle it with flour. Yeah, because then it doesn't stick. I'm sure I've mentioned before that when I originally went off to uni, I started out on an arts degree. Switching to healthcare was a complete about turn that occurred partway through my first year. Actually, to link things all the way back to the diaries that I mentioned at the start, yesterday I did find the exact entry from the 6th of January 2014, where I recount how I suddenly realised my purpose in life and told my parents, apparently in the middle of a documentary about ancient Egypt, as you do. This was a huge turning point for me, and of course I spent the next few weeks reviewing my options, and in the course of that I came across information about a course run by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, which gives you the skills to take the healthcare role that you have in the UK and work abroad, principally in a voluntary setting, so with MSF, the Red Cross, with an organisation called VSO, or even what I currently do with FAST, but in a more informed way. And when I found out about this course, I straight away made myself a kind of provisional plan to go do my training, and then when I could do this course. You have to be qualified for 2 years to be able to apply for this course, and now I bet you can see where this is going, because finally, 5 years after initially having that idea, I applied for a place on the course this spring, and unbelievably, I actually got into it. I never expected to get in on the first time I applied, so that's a bit crazy. So this is an intensive 19-week course. I am still going to be working full-time because my work would just not quite supportive enough to grant me any study leave. And then I'm going to be commuting to London 1 day a week to attend lectures and labs from 9 AM to 6 PM. I'm really excited to be doing this. I'm also very proud of myself to be finally achieving something that is a goal that I've been working towards for such a long time. And I really, really, really want this course to work out, so I'm going to be putting my all into it. What this means is that in the time when I would be watching BookTube videos, I will be reviewing lectures. In the time when I would be scripting and editing, I will be reading papers and writing coursework. I'm basically not really expecting to have any hobbies for those 19 weeks. I'm not the kind of person who can burn the candle at both ends very easily. So something has to go, and that will be BookTube for me for now, because I can't have this study impacting on my real life job. The course starts in September, so sadly that means no ShakeTube, no Victober, and no Nonfiction November. 3 events that I really loved so much last year and that helped me to find my feet in the community and to find like-minded people. I think I'm just going to have to remove all temptation and just not even watch any videos, otherwise I'm worried I'll be drawn into procrastinating and neglecting my studies, which I don't want to do. So this video is pretty much a combined excuse and apology in advance for not watching any of your awesome videos for a long time. Following on from that, and after this course finishes, I have also somehow been lucky enough to get a place on a course arranged by my workplace to complete the step 2 and 3 competencies for my role, which is in itself very exciting and will equip me for being a more experienced member of the team. We have a relatively high turnover, so we do have a lot of new starters coming in, and this course will help me to put me in the position of being able to support them more and just have a little bit more confidence in myself. That course runs over a year from January, and it should be a bit more relaxed because it is designed to fit with the job. I'm basically not promising to be back anytime soon because I don't know how much of my time that specifically is going to take. Moving further into 2020, I have another personal milestone coming up that is going to take some of my planning and organising thought power away from BookTube as well. And my planning and organising thought power is pretty small already. And that thing would be planning for a wedding. Bo and I got engaged back in February while we were in Norway. I actually asked him, and for me, a very strong motivation in this, aside from the fact that, you know, I love him and want to share my life with him. Thank you, is to make our legal status more in keeping with our life status. So we own a house together, we have a cat together, we pay all of our bills jointly, and we plan to do so for the rest of our lives. But in the UK, there is a very poor recognition of cohabiting couples. And for that reason alone, marriage remains quite important. That said, I do want it to be a nice day and a day that we can both enjoy. It's going to be quite low-key, but it actually takes quite a lot of effort to keep things low-key when everyone around you seems to be expecting a fancy do. Sorry about that noise, that is the oven being opened. Cakes in the oven. If I hear one more mention of hiring a nice marquee, I am going to cry. It's not that I've been keeping it a secret since February, it's just that it hasn't been an appropriate point to mention it. So does this mean that I'm going to vanish from BookTube completely forevermore? Well, hopefully not. I mentioned earlier about diaries, and that is not something that I really do anymore, but in a way these videos perform the same function for this period of my life. And I don't want to just toss them out completely. I've actually been thinking a lot lately about changing my approach to this channel and making it, like our wedding plans, as chilled out as possible. Yesterday I posted a contribution to the Light in August discussions that was just filmed over breakfast with my camera in selfie mode. The lighting was appalling and I was just using a few notes, but not the script that I've got for like a video like today. I have a script for today because I like feeling like my videos are under control and I know what I'm doing, but it just takes too long. It took me all day for this very, very inane, very short little bit of speech. So what I might do is just a very casual video once a week, maybe a bit like Friday Reads type things, and just say what I've read in the week and keep it really short, and most importantly not to edit because I'm really bad with procrastinating editing. I know that this style of video won't appeal to many people, but I'll be doing it more than anything for myself rather than other people, so I wouldn't really expect them to be good videos that people would particularly want to watch. And obviously, like I said, I don't think I'll really be watching other people's videos, so it's like I'll be here in the community but not here. So on the one hand, I feel like it could come across as quite rude, so that's kind of why I'm explaining what I'm planning to do and my reasons for that. Anyway, so that's just a thought and something that I might start experimenting with before the course starts and see how it goes. Well, that is quite a long enough ramble, but before I go, I'd just like to take the time to make a few shout-outs to some of the many awesome people who have made this year so special. There is no specific order to this. These are all just lovely people. Some of them have been supportive to me, and some of them would frankly have no reason to notice me at all, but all of them make BookTube the thing that I love. Katie from Books and Things for creating fantastic events like Jane Austen July and Victober, and for giving me a couple of shout-outs. I think I owe at least 100 of my subscribers to her. Claudia at Spencer's Library for always having such amazing high quality videos and being so very together with her life. She has also given me shout outs and probably, I know, owe another 100 of my subscribers to her. It is very impressive the impact that it has when somebody with a larger following mentions you in a video. Marissa at Blatantly Bookish for the wonderful Jane Austen July and her very thoughtful videos in general. Brian at Bookish for creating the intellectual quality of videos that I wish that I could make and for supporting the Light and August read-along. Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, in particular for his Mortality project. He is the booktuber that has made me cry the most with his book recommendations over the last year. Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, his wife, for hosting the Scarlet Letter read-along a while ago and just generally being a really sweet human being. Steve Donahue for being the behemoth of BookTube that he is. That was hard to get out. And he was actually the first channel to ever give me any kind of shout out back when I had only posted literally 2 videos. He definitely doesn't watch my channel normally anymore, but that was a massive confidence boost for me as a newbie. Rachel Marie Book Junkie, again, definitely not watching these videos these days, but she was the first person to tag me in something, and that was very sweet of her. Joseph Francis Burton for always having the most in-depth discussions of the most weird and wonderful books. Albert at Seriella for leaving wonderful responsive comments and educating me so much on Puerto Rico. Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics for encouraging me to try new things and believing that I would be able to say something interesting about James Joyce. Sadly, I was not, but I appreciate his faith in me. Joe Smith and Lillian, I'm not going to try and say your surname, neither of whom have channels. I'll bring the cat over to say hello to the video. Bonus kitty. She didn't like that. Neither of these guys have their own channels, but they are both such amazing commenters on my videos and most of the other videos that I watch. They always have something insightful to say, and I love that. Mark from Words Everywhere for promoting the sonnets and then being such a gentleman when I threw them out of the pram and didn't like them. Olive at A Book Olive for creating Nonfiction November, which, as I have said earlier, I really enjoyed. Jessie the Reader for being the first booktuber I ever discovered. Jen Campbell for being the first booktuber I ever liked. Ros Cook for being my mum, but in a booktube sense for being very willing to participate in videos and comments and just really getting involved the moment she found out about this. Bo for being my first ever subscriber. Gaia Athena for bringing a unique perspective to booktube and being really friendly when we were both newbies. Dane Reads for having just the chilled out but interesting review videos that I would love to have myself. Dennis at Intellectual Reads for participating in Light and August as well. Jay Shea for really interesting review videos, especially during ShakeTube and now his little pre-ShakeTube play reviews as well. Books by Lanes for never failing to make me laugh. And Amelia from Amelia Reads for having such a sweet new channel and really throwing herself into the Jane Austen July as a newbie and just having interesting things to say. So that is 25 shoutouts for my 25th birthday. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry if I've completely bored you. I will hopefully speak to you soon, and in the meantime, I will be eating some very tasty cake. It's lemon cake if you were wondering.